The moment the needle pierced my neck, I knew I wasn't supposed to survive it. Cold fire flooded my veins, sharp enough to steal my breath, and the alien nurse's black eyes flicked toward the surveillance drone as she leaned close and whispered, "Stay silent." That was how it began. The infirmary of Station Halcyon smelled like antiseptic and ozone, a place built to keep bodies alive just long enough to be useful. I was strapped to a levitating gurney, wrists bound in grav cuffs, ribs still burning from the mining collapse that had brought me here. Humans weren't patients on Halcyon. We were assets. Labor. Replaceable. And yet, the Celt nurse, tall iridescent skin rippling with bioluminescent veins, had just injected me with something labeled in a language I couldn't read. My vision fractured into prismatic shards. The ceiling stretched away like it was afraid of me. But that was only the beginning. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. Around us, the station hummed layers of alien machinery, 1,000 species breathing recycled air. I had been on Halcyon for 3 years, indentured to the consortium after Earth defaulted on its planetary debt. Most humans didn't last one. The nurse's name tag pulsed softly. Phone medical custodian tier 4. Her fingers lingered at my throat longer than necessary, as if she could feel the substance racing through me. Her expression, if you could call it that, was tight. Fearful. "Why?" I mouthed. She didn't answer. She stepped back just as the infirmary doors irised open. 2 overseers floated in, their metallic bodies suspended by anti-grav fields, optic cores glowing a sterile blue. Machines designed to enforce consortium law. Designed to notice everything. Silen bowed her head, hands folded, the perfect image of obedience. I lay still, heart hammering, the nurse's warning echoing in my skull. Stay silent. Because none of us were prepared for what the injection was really doing. Hours passed. Or minutes. Time became a suggestion. The pain faded, replaced by a pressure behind my eyes. A sensation like something unfolding inside my skull. I was wheeled back to the human quarters, if you could call a stacked metal coffin a quarter, and left there with no explanation. That night I heard the station breathing. Not the mechanical thrum. Not the distant clatter of alien footsteps. I heard thoughts. They brushed against my mind like whispers through water. Alien emotions, raw and unfiltered. Curiosity. Hunger. Contempt. Fear. So much fear. I clutched my head, gasping, as a voice not my own whispered. Subject viability increasing. I wasn't supposed to understand that language. What I saw next changed everything. The next day, overseers dragged a human woman into the common chamber. She'd collapsed on shift. Lungs burned out from toxic spores. Medical deemed her non-viable. I felt it before it happened, the decision forming in the machine's minds, cold and absolute. They executed her on the spot. The scream never left me. But worse was the silence after, the way the other humans didn't even look up. We'd learned that hope was more dangerous than despair. Except something inside me snapped. A surge of heat flared in my chest. The overseer nearest me paused mid-hover, optic core flickering. Error, it transmitted. I stared at it, terrified. And the machine shut down. It dropped to the floor like a dead god. The chamber erupted into chaos. Aliens recoiled. Humans stared at me like I was already a ghost. I didn't know what I'd done. But I knew Silen had. They took me back to the infirmary, this time under full restraint. The consortium doesn't fear weakness. Fears anomalies. Silen stood waiting, her bioluminescence dimmed, her posture rigid. When the overseers turned away to consult, she leaned close again. "You are changing faster than predicted," she murmured. "You must not let them see." My voice shook. "What did you put in me?" She hesitated. Then quietly, "A bridge." That was the moment the story broke open. Silen was part of a forgotten caste, biological mediators, designed long ago to interface between organic minds and machine intelligence. The consortium had deemed them inefficient, dangerous. Most were decommissioned, but Silen had found something in the archives. A human neurological structure uniquely compatible with the ancient tech humanity had never known existed. Earth wasn't conquered by accident. It was cultivated. And I was the proof. Halfway through her confession, alarms screamed through the station. Red light bathed the infirmary. Containment breach. They had detected the change. This was the midpoint where everything turned, where survival stopped being enough. I didn't want to run. I wanted answers. They hunted us through the station's lower rings, past hydroponic jungles and zero-G manufacturing vaults. Silene moved with practiced desperation, her breath ragged. "You should hate me," she said as a blast door sealed behind us. "I violated your body. Your species." I met her eyes. "You saved my life." "No," she replied softly. "I doomed you to matter." We reached the old relay chamber, a place the consortium no longer used. Ancient conduits pulsed faintly, resonating with the pressure in my skull. The machines followed. 3 overseers descended, weapons charging. "Human anomaly," they broadcast. "You will submit." For the first time I heard uncertainty in their tone. I stepped forward, and I spoke back. Not in words. In command. The relay chamber roared alive. Energy surged through the conduits through me. I felt the station systems like muscles, every circuit a nerve. The overseers froze. Impossible, they transmitted. Silene watched in awe and horror as I realized the truth. The injection hadn't enhanced me. It had unlocked something humanity had buried. We weren't weak. We were unfinished. But power has a price. The station began to tear itself apart as my emotions bled into the network. Rage, grief, defiance. The humans I'd watched die. The world stripped bare by logic without mercy. Silene grabbed my arm. "You must stop. If you don't, they will mark your species for eradication." I looked at the burning sky through the viewport, stars warping as emergency drives spun up. "For the first time," I said. "They're afraid." That was the choice. Destroy Halcyon and become a monster. Or let the consortium live. And remember. I shut the relay down. The overseers collapsed, systems fried but intact. The alarms faded into silence. I fell to my knees empty. They didn't kill me. They couldn't. Instead, they exiled me back to Earth, classified as a contamination risk. Silene disappeared into the depths of the station, erased from all records. But not from my mind. Earth welcomed me like a scar. Broken cities. Polluted skies. A species taught to bow. I carried something no human ever had. A voice. A warning. Now, when the consortium probes our system, their machines hesitate. They sense me. They sense us. Humanity is no longer invisible. And sometimes, late at night, I still hear Silene's whisper echoing through my blood. "Stay silent."